Hey y'all, my name is Jessie and welcome to the Two Sticks and Strings podcast. I am your host and I love all things knitting, crochet, cross stitch, cats, and Kpop. You'll definitely see at least 4 of the 5. I can't guarantee a cat appearance, but I do have 3, Bella, Berlin, and Maki, so you might see them in the background from time to time. If any of those things are to your liking, please join me and I would love to sit with you and chat about some of the things I've got going on. If not, totally fine. There's 1,000 podcasts out there that might be more to your liking, and I am all about finding community. So if this isn't the right place for you, that's okay. I hope you find your community though. Okay? All right. If you want to get in touch with me, you can find me on Instagram at Army Wife Knitting Life or on Ravelry at Army Wife Knit Life. I do also have a Ravelry group. It's a little dead because I took some time off to go to school and earn a bachelor's degree. But it does exist. You can find it. Just Two Sticks and String podcast. You'll know you're in the right place. If you see Petrillo the owl, who you see at the beginning of every episode here, that's how you know you're in the right place. All right, so shall we get started? First off, I have huge news. My friend Leslie released a new knitting pattern today. Well, re-released. It has been updated, and there are new photos of the item, and I am the model. Yay! It is my profile picture on Instagram and Facebook right now, if you follow me on Facebook. It is called Carmilla's Castle by Dynasty Designs. You can find it on Ravelry. She also offers the abacus cowl as a free pattern, so you can see how she presents her patterns. And let me tell you, I see how hard she works on these. I know how thoughtful her patterns are written, and they are very clear, concise, color-coded if there's multiple sizes, colorblind friendly when there are those multiple color-coded sizes, and she's a size-inclusive designer. So if you can support her, please do. I adore her. I am lucky enough to call her one of my friends, and if you ever get the chance to meet her, I know you'll love her just as much as I do, okay? Just trust me on this one. It's a really cute hat pattern. It calls for DK weight yarn, and it is fabulous. It's also got cables, and we know I love a good cable. All right, let's get on to the actual knitting portion now. I have a few finished objects. I've got a few whips. I have a little bit of stash. Let's get going. First thing, big finish, which you've also never seen before, but that's okay. I'm still working on getting more consistent. I think 2 months is a new record since I've been in school for a long time, and getting back into the swing takes time. I'm used to not doing a podcast anymore. So getting back to thinking about it, it's just taking an extra minute, okay? All right, here's the first project. It's a little baby blanket. It's so cute. It's a crocheted corner to corner. I used Big Twist Lollipop Twisties in the anemone colorway. And it cycles through these colors beautifully. I used 9 balls of the yarn. It is a Joann's exclusive, so unfortunately I don't know how available the yarn is going to be since Joann's is closing here. But I found it when I went to the one in North Carolina at Fort Bragg. I was able to snag up a few balls of this because, as I told you last episode, my best friend, since I was 5, announced that she is expecting a baby, and again, very excited for her. When I bought yarn, though, she didn't know a gender yet, and so I bought baby boy yarn and I bought baby girl yarn, and I figured, my husband's in the Army. Someone is always having a baby. So whatever gender this baby is not, the other one will get donated. So she announced she's very excited. She's having a little boy. I'm not going to share the name or anything, though I do know what the name is, just out of privacy for her. And she gets to announce that when she's ready, probably after baby is born. But I have the baby girl one done, and I'm currently working on the baby boy blanket. But I'll show you that in WIPs. I also have a few other finished objects. All are socks. Are we surprised? Socks are my go-to. I am the sock knitting queen, y'all. Self-proclaimed. But these are all for my former boss, and now lucky enough to call her my friend as well. I had promised to make her, in her words, fuzzy soft moo moo cow blanket out of burlap blanket yarn. And I absolutely hated it. And it needed to die a very painful death because looking at it made me angry. So I talked to her and we agreed I'm making her socks instead. So I've knit 4 pairs so far. I do want to get a few more done though. These are the first pair. They are scrappy socks. These are made using leftovers from Desert Vista Dye Works. This is Pretty Hate Machine. The heels are ruby, and the leg and cuff is Witches of Eastwick. All are on Desert Vista Dye Works Zean sock base, which is her sparkle base. And I knit socks the same way every single time. I do a plain vanilla sock. I do fish lips, kiss heel, toe up, and then however long I feel the foot needs to be. These are beautiful sock blockers. I believe these are from Alex Workshop Design. I don't buy from them anymore, not because there's anything wrong with them. I just found a shop that I prefer a little more, and they're who you typically see on my socks displayed on. I just ran out of sock blockers. So this is the first pair. This is the second pair. These sock blockers are from Milan Jedro. They are my favorite knitting sock blocker company, who I put most of mine on. They're beautiful. They're simple. They're wood burned. That is a personalized message. And it also puts the size on the little hanger. And there's multiple ways to get the hanger on there, but you can have the hanger, I mean. But this colorway is from Nomadic Yarns. It used to be her Hagrid colorway, but I do know a few years ago she changed the names of all of her Harry Potter colorway yarns so as to not be associated with Harry Potter, which is a very controversial, problematic association, especially for a lot of knitters. So she changed it out of respect for everyone. So this used to be the Hagrid colorway. I wish I could tell you what it is now. I do not know because I haven't purchased a lot of indie dyed sock yarn in a very long time. And most of my indie dyed yarn honestly comes from my darling friend Corinne at Hawari Bazaar Yarn Co. But again, I haven't purchased a lot of indie dyed yarn in a good 2.5, 3 years. I've bought the occasional skein or two, and like I went to a yarn crawl in June last year, but they weren't like, they were things that I happened to find in a brick and mortar shop. It wasn't like I went out seeking these stores, and I honestly couldn't tell you much about any of them other than I bought their yarn at the store. All right, next pair. I believe these sock blockers are from Knitting Left. I don't know if she still makes them anymore. These were a gift from a friend of mine for Christmas at least 7 years ago, but they have my name on them, and it was the name of the podcast at the time. Now it's just my username, and I still use it on most things, and it has my closing statement. This yarn is Regia Aquarius colorway, and the Faba, the color is 4911, or Burgunda, which is like burgundy in German. And I'd say there are burgundy fuchsia tones throughout this pair. Again, all of mine are knit the same, toe up, Fish Lips Kiss Heel. I knit on Chalgu red lace, or most of my socks, not all, but most are knit on Carbons needles on a 1 or 1.5, just depending on what's free and available. And then my last pair of socks to show off, also from Nomadic Yarns. This is not a sparkle colorway from her. This was, as I said, because it is a former Harry Potter colorway, Astronomy Tower. I don't know if she's changed this one since the association is looser with it. I wish I knew. I don't. Again, I haven't purchased a lot of yarn recently, so yeah, these are my final finished object to show you. Again, sock blockers are from Mileniedro, and just let me show you how beautiful is that. Just stunning. They are located in Europe, so it does take a little bit longer to get to you, but it is worth the time it takes to get them because they're so well made and just, they're pieces of art. Okay, that is it for finished objects. I do have a crochet whip and a cross stitch whip. As I said, I do have more socks I want to knit for my friend. I plan to give her a whole box of socks, so a pair per month, and essentially, I just haven't gotten there yet. I've been a little busy, but I will show you my crochet whip first. This is the baby boy blanket I was telling you about. It's another corner to corner, and this time I'm using Lion Brand Ice Cream in the Smurf colorway. I'm over halfway done. This is my second out of 3 balls of yarn. I am crocheting this with an eye hook, which is also 5.5 millimeters for those that don't use letters on their hooks. I really enjoy corner to corner patterns. They're always very simple and mindless for me, which, let's be honest, I need, especially lately with how sick I've been. But we'll go into that in life updates. Okay, so here's that whip. I have 2 cross stitch whips though. The first one comes back every month because I've got a goal to meet. Last time you saw this, I was working on finishing up Koya, which is this little koala here. And I have since finished him and added Cookie, who's the little bunny. This is by Springhill Designs. It is BT21. They are joined by Mong and Chimmy. My goal is to do 1 character a month up until June, which it will then be finished because that is when BTS is finally discharged from the Korean Army and civil servant service for one of their other members. Each of these characters was designed by a member of BTS to reflect their personality, and it's so special to work on this because I love them so much. Also shout out J-Hope, who is the creator of Mong down here, this little horse. He is currently doing Hope on the Stage tour, and it's finishing up in California right now, and it's leaving the US and headed to Asia, like the Philippines and Japan and everything. But he has released 3 songs since I saw you last. LV Bag, Sweet Dreams, and Mona Lisa. Of the 3, Mona Lisa's my absolute favorite. Go stream it. That's my little K-pop bit for today. So yes, this month I am working on RJ, who is created by the oldest member, Jin, who's been out of the army for well over a year now at this point, I believe. I do still have to finish Tata and Shuki. You can see his outline is up here. He will be the last one. He's the smallest. And I'll be doing him in June. The fabric is just a Charles Craft dyed Aida from Joann's. And I'm using all of the called for DMC colors. I'm still working on the Flosstube part of this practice, y'all. And then my needle minder is from A Needle Runs Through It. I purchased it from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery though, because that's where I get most of my cross stitch patterns. Also, I'm keeping this in a Lakewind Studio project bag. This is a future project, so you don't see anything. But it's very Lisa Frank, and let me try and, there we go. That's the front, back. I love it because it's bright and colorful, and it's just a joy to look at. As I said, it's from Lakewind Studio on Etsy. Let me put this in here safely. The direction. And when I buy project bags, I also tend to purchase the Notions pouch that goes along with it, if there's one available. And this pattern, since I love the fabric so much, has become my traveling Notions pouch. Whenever I'm going somewhere, this has all the things I could need, or most of them. It's got lotion, extra needles, some snips. It has DMC 310 in here on a bobbin, because that's something that almost every single pattern has. So I can always work on it. It's got some lotion for my hands. It's got a seam ripper. And when I know I'm traveling, I throw in these little needle threaders from Loran in there. They're very helpful, so much faster than trying to thread the needle myself. All right, one last whip, y'all. This is my 12 days of Christmas. It is a Haid project done by Hannah Lynn. And I will try and let me pull up the picture so y'all can see what it looks like when it's done. There we go. That is what it will look like when it is completed. That is a lot of stitches. I just started this last year. I'm not that far into it. But my goal is to hit 5% on it this year. So here we go. Move my thread a little. That's where I'm at. I'm in the top left corner. This is an 18 count Aida thread fabric. The other one is a 14 count Aida for my BT21. All flosses are called for floss. This is an easy grid. Pre-gridded I did not do, so I don't have the time or the patience. And I got this fabric from Dying for Cross Stitch. This is an 11-inch Q-snap and makes stitching so much easier. And again, the needle minder comes from A Needle Runs Through It. Again, made for Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery because the pumpkins are their mascot. So, as I said, goal is 5% on this. I have not yet hit 2%, so you're going to keep seeing it for a while. Also, finally, the last little bit, my stash, is I bought a few balls of this. This is Big Twist, and it's the Living Line in the colorway Authentic. This is a Joann's exclusive brand again, so I don't know if this will be available in your local Joann's. They are all closing nationwide, so what they have is what's available. Each store is different, so if you are lucky enough to have multiple near you, go check them out and see what's in each one. My mother's in Mississippi has all of the lollipop twisty yarn that baby girl blanket is made out of. And it's all in Christmas colorways. And I really was tempted to have her buy me some because that yarn is so squishy and plush and amazing. But yarn is still only 25% off. No coupons are allowed. No military discounts that I'm used to. and that small baby blanket was 9 balls of yarn, and they're $5 each. So it's not bad. It's a great price for a baby blanket, but to make a full-size blanket, I'm not willing to pay that much. So, as I said, big twist yarn, and this is going to become a cardigan of some sort because, as I said, my bestie's having a baby, and bestie's favorite sports team is LSU. LSU anything, any sport, particularly football, but any sport. And it just so happens that this is LSU colors. So whether it's a boy or a girl, they will wear this. I love it. It's fantastic. So I also ended up getting from that same yarn line their rainbow yarn, since I have a friend who has unfortunately had a miscarriage recently. It's been posted on her page. I'm not sharing any secrets here, but she's debating trying again, and so I would love to make her a rainbow blanket if possible, but that is not up for show right now. The yarn is packed away safely since they have pet allergies in their home. And as I said, I have cats. So that is all of my projects going on right now. However, it's time to bring out the whiteboard. You don't want to see my messy desk. Here we go. This is my tracking my 2025 goals for the year. I currently have 13 whips. I've had 6 finishes for the year, and I've had 1 new start. That new start is for cross-stitch whips only. My goals for the year are to finish 12 sweaters, get 5% on the 12 days of Christmas, get the first row or 10% done on my Pokemon cross-stitch, which I have yet to work on this year. So that's going to be a little difficult. I want to finish BT21 by June 21st, which is the day the last BTS member is discharged. I want to start and finish 3 Bobble Birds cross-stitch patterns. You can see I started the first one last time, and you saw it in my last episode. I just haven't worked on it since. And I also want to finish 3 other projects cross-stitch wise. My progress. I have cast on 2 sweaters. I have not worked on either of them lately because I've been doing blankets and socks. My 12 days, which is the cross stitch I showed you that I'm just working on the sky infinitely, I was able to get 2,354 stitches done since you last saw me. So I now have 5,546 stitches out of 16,825 stitches. That means I still have 11,279 stitches to go. That's a long way, but I'm going to try. It averages out to around 1,300 stitches a month from today on in order to hit that goal. That's not including any other projects, but I think I can manage that. I typically, when I stitch, I try to do 100 stitches a day minimum. So if I only got the minimum in, I would take up 13 days out of 30 or 31, whatever. You know how it works. You know how calendars work. If that's the only stitching I do, it'll only take me 13 days to meet that goal, and then I have time for other projects. I can also make it get done faster or focus on other things, so I like that it gives me flexibility. The Pokemon cross-stitch I am wanting to pick up. It's just, I've been so sick lately, and again, I'll go over that in a minute. So, it hasn't made any progress since you last saw it last year. And then I started my first Bobble Bird, which I'm still also haven't worked on lately. All right. So as I said, I haven't worked on Pokemon because Pokemon is much more, I don't want to say it's confetti heavy. I'm having to switch colors more often because there are blocks of color, but they're smaller blocks. And with how sick I've been lately, I've been in and out of the hospital, getting blood tests done, trying to figure out what's wrong. There are some days where I couldn't tell you what I've done all day because I haven't really done anything productive, but my day just flew by at the same time. There are days that I just end up sleeping a lot or reading or playing on my Nintendo Switch, playing Pokemon or something, because that's all the energy I have. And so I need to be realistic about my goals for the year. The Pokemon, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, and that's okay. I'm also going to say it is okay if I don't finish 3 other projects this year. I do have one that I want to start and get and finish. It's very small. It's that little Mong pattern that you saw in the BTS bag. I also have a cross stitch project that I have like 1.5 clues left. It's a caterpillar cross. Almost done, essentially. It's just 1.5 clues left, and I could probably get it done if I sit and focus for a little bit. But so that would be 2 other finishes. I'm not going to stress myself on the bauble birds because they are a Christmas gift, yes, but they don't have to be for this Christmas. And my sweaters, they don't all have to be for me anymore. At the beginning of the year, I said all 12 are going to be for me. With how sick I've been the past 3 months, I am trying to scale back on my expectations for myself. I am very competitive with myself. And I knew going in that some of these goals were unachievable at the start of the year. But I like to set the goal for higher than I can achieve because it keeps me motivated to keep pushing. And I look at it as what I've seen myself do in the past is when I have a realistic goal, I'll hit it, hooray, and then I kind of just fizzle out and don't do much more other than that. But when I have set goals, then when I don't achieve them all, I'm still pushing myself to get done, and I'm still enjoying it because I love to see just how close I can get to that goal that's driving me nuts. And so it's good for me personally to have goals that are a little wild and crazy without being too wild and crazy. I'm not going to remove any of them from my board because, yes, I've been sick these past 3 months, but I could be getting better soon. I could be staying as I am. So I don't want to remove the challenge until we get further down. There's still a bunch of months where I have a lot of time to go. I'm going to be traveling a lot, and like I'm going to my parents in June. I'm not going to go sightseeing or anything while I'm there. I'm taking care of their dog while they're on a cruise. So I'm going to have a bunch of crafting time. And I just want to be cognizant and share with y'all, so that way at the end of the year, if I don't make it, I don't want y'all to be disappointed. Again, I know that they're unrealistic. Even if I was perfectly healthy, some of these goals would be unattainable the way I set them up in January. But I'm going to try my darndest to get as far as I can. But so yeah, I've been really sick lately. I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to gross y'all out. But I've been really sick, and I'm hoping, I went to the doctor today, and we're playing around with some of my meds, and hopefully that'll help a little bit. And hopefully I won't get so dehydrated. That's a hard one for me, so I am drinking lots of Gatorade. I wish they sponsored me. They do not. I don't have any sponsors. But if you want to sponsor me, please do. I am a hot mess. I'm rambling now, so I'm going to get off. And until next time, do what makes your heart sing. For me, that's 2 sticks and string. See ya.